mentioned powdered snow. Um, when do you recommend to use snowshoes? And I know you have them there with you.
Yeah. Um, I've snowshoed the length of the Sierras from Tahoe to Kennedy Meadow South. I've skied the length of it. I've pulled a 7.5-foot sled the length of it. The times when I've used snowshoes, I couldn't count on one hand. It wouldn't even qualify for one hand. I've carried them 2 or 3 times when I anticipated softer snow and really didn't have it because I was so early in the season. So if you're going to be in the Sierra, snowshoes are for soft snow. If you're not using them, you're carrying them. Just because you think you're going to need them, you may not. I have seen snowshoes thrown off to the side of the trail north of Kennedy Meadow South because people took them and realized they didn't need them and they didn't want to carry them. So they just threw them away. I think I've really been happy I had them maybe once or twice in years. Otherwise, they're great in the winter when the snow is soft, but in the spring, after your snowpack can settle and consolidate and refreeze every night, don't waste your money and the weight of your pack by trying to carry these. If you chose a brand, this is it because of all the teeth and the way it's designed when it goes across a steep hillside. The nice thing about this one is that forget edging. You cannot edge with snowshoes. So it's not going to work like your boot. So if this is your hillside and this is your snowshoe, because the frame is made of straight metal or flat metal, it gets a sufficient bite into the hillside so that this doesn't just take off as a ski. The problem with your rounded framed snowshoes is that they turn into skis for nothing. Going across the hillside on angle, they'll just take off out from underneath you. And suddenly you're going, whoa, and you lose your balance and you fall. So these will last and bite into the hillside a little better, but they're not meant for traversing on anything hard. Once the snow is soft, then you can make a hole for each foot, then you're fine. You don't have those conditions in the Sierra normally, especially before the thaw. After the thaw, people have said, well, Ned, why don't I bring snowshoes from when the snow is soup? Well, you will find that you will still be carrying your snowshoes because it's a lot easier to get up and do your 10 miles in the first few hours of the morning on hard snow that has partially refrozen. Even during the thaw, the nights are cold. They're just not sub-freezing. So you can't walk all day on a hard surface. The snow will soften during the thaw. But if you get up at 4, and leave by 5, or get up at 3 and leave by 4, you'll have several hours before mid-morning or maybe around 11 o'clock when you start post-holing to get your miles in without having to carry snowshoes. So I'm not a proponent for thru hikers to be using snowshoes, southbound or northbound, and especially not southbound because of the slope.